So we would like for those of you that are here today, spread the news that we have this every year. It's usually the first Thursday in March, and has been for PJ. We're getting close to 40 years, aren't we?
Pretty close.
This is 38 or
This
so?
is 39, I think.
39. So next year may be 40. So we hope to get maybe 100 people for 40. We used to have 100. So.
Jerry said he was going to tell some stories, and he didn't get to it, which kind of surprised me when he did that. But if you remember last year, we had the superintendent of schools here, Keith Burke, and when we left, I said to Keith, I says, Keith, who can we get for next year that tells us about Marion High School? And he said, that'll be easy, Terry Lakes. So I got a hold of Coach Lakes, who is our speaker today, and I said, Coach, you know, he's now no longer a teacher at Marion High School, except he does do special contract work and still goes in and teaches a class here and there. But I'll tell you, it's really special for us to have Terry Lakes today. First of all, as a coach, Terry was the head cross country and head track and field coach from '89 to 2017. He had 105 state qualifiers, 30 all-state performers, 16 North Central Conference championships, 28 sectionals, 8 regionals, and was nominated or was Coach of the Year in the state of Indiana many times. Now that's as a coach. I like to talk to him more about him teaching. You know, how many times do we have that teacher coach that is more interested in coaching than he is teaching, and teaching just kind of goes by the wayside. I can attest to that because I was probably pretty good at that for 7 years. So, not Terry Lakes. Terry has recently retired. He continues to teach though. He teaches AP English. He also teaches academic college credit English, dual credits, and is certified by Indiana University to teach that. So when they take Terry's AP class, if they pass it, you know, they get college credit. And Terry, you might mention a little bit about the AP credits and what some of our kids are leaving for Marion High School with. So I also think of him as a teacher as well. And I'll never forget when Linda and I's kids were going through high school and running cross country, Terry would have a summer camp at the Dunes. And I was lucky enough to be able to cook for that group 3 years. And we would go to summer camp at the Dunes, and during break, the kids would get up and run in the morning and run at night. During break, Terry was always saying, all right, what books did you read this summer? And in his spare time, he would get his lawn chair out and sit by his tent, and he'd be reading. Now, I guarantee you those athletes were reading those days. Fascinating.
Thanks, Sean. Everybody hear me? Is that on?
Yeah.
Good? Okay. Well, let me set my clock here so my wife doesn't have to give me the throat signal back there if I go too long. One, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. Talking about Marion High School is something that I love to do. First, I want to talk about John a little bit. As my cook, it's the only time that you would run 50 to 70 miles a week and kids would gain weight. We would have biscuits and gravy in the morning. We would have eggs, and he would have little pizzas for lunch. Charlene would make that. He'd make these great dinners, and kids were saying, "I'm eating 3 times a day." I never eat 3 times a day. And those were special times when we'd go to the Dunes, sleeping in tents on the ground. I'm not a camper, but I did that for years and years and years. Made the kids think I liked that. So, Red Devil, and I'm thinking to myself, never happened. Vicki and I here because I taught 3 years in South Florida before that. And I said, Vicki and I, we just got married that summer, and I said, I'll be here 2 years. That was 1985. And he was right. He made me, everyone made me into a giant. I've been married since 1985, but I graduated from Richmond in 1978, ran cross country and track, ran at Eastern Kentucky University for 4 years, signed a contract in Broward County, Florida. If you don't know where that is, most of you probably do. In Fort Lauderdale area, Pompano Beach is where I was. Never been there. And I told my dad, they've offered me a job. He said, sign it. Made 11.5 that first year, $500 for coaching, got paid once a month, and I thought I was in high cotton. And I met a guy there that was from Michigan. He was my roommate, and I was just telling our table the story. My first year, I was a terrible teacher, probably a worse coach, and I remember going home and thinking I had made a grave error in my career choice. Those kids from Pompano Beach High School just ate me alive that year. And after that, I met Vicki one summer when I was visiting my parents in Richmond. And this is my wife, Vicki. Vicki, wave back there. Yep. Vicki is a special ed teacher, 13 years in the Mississinewa Corporation, and she got smart and came to Marion. Taught 24 years at Francis Slocum in special education. So both of us kind of could commiserate with each other at the end of the day if we had a bad day. But I came to Marion in 1985, and when I came, I became the girls track coach first. Cross country was not open. I volunteered. The coach that was there, he and I really didn't see eye to eye, so I didn't take the team until he left. Excuse me, 1989, became the boys track coach in 91, and all in all, with the coaching in South Florida, I coached for 35 years. Last spring, my wife and I, we officially retired. I taught 41 years, and as John said, I'm teaching ACP English, which is dual credit English through IU, so the kids get their high school credit, plus they're getting their college credit. So if you went to IU and you took W131 composition, that's the class I teach in the fall. L202 is a literary interpretation class, which I teach in the spring semester. So that's what I'm doing now.